Welcome back. Imagine being in Mosul, trapped in your house with ISIS gunmen preventing you from leaving because they think having civilians around means the Americans are less likely to bomb. Then imagine everything around you is blowing up. It's 120 degrees out and you have little or no food and water. And if you manage to escape, you find out that most of the hospitals are damaged or destroyed. This is what it's been like for thousands of people in Mosul. We met one American who decided to risk everything to try to help. The offensive on Mosul triggered a human exodus. As the Iraqi forces drove out ISIS, civilians searched for safer ground. Many were in bad shape, the walking wounded, and those who could no longer walk. Thousands have suffered severe injuries, but so close to the battle, there's just a handful of people to help them.
Tell them to calm down.
Pete Reed is one of them. The 28-year-old from New Jersey used to be a U.S. Marine. Now he's back on the front lines, but this time in Mosul, working as a medic. We find him and a team working on a group of Iraqi soldiers, ISIS militants hiding in the rubble. Just threw a grenade at them.
Okay, just hold pressure. Yeah.
And they're not just treating soldiers. Half of their patients are civilians. Some of the most harrowing cases he's seen involve children.
The mom stepped on an IED and she was killed, and the kid was split open. The 2-year-old kid was this big.
That's one of the cases that'll stick with you.
That's one of the ones that'll stick with me. Yeah, bandage, quick, here.
We first met Reed in November, just after the Mosul offensive began. He and a friend came to Iraq to fight as volunteers, but they ended up doing first aid.
I still had some fight left in me. I could use my medical for good.
How many frontline medical posts like this are there in Mosul right now? One.
You're standing in it. Pain coming anywhere.
But working on the front line comes with certain risks, and Reed has had some close calls.
Take cover, take cover. They're running. It's a full retreat. It's a full retreat.
Like the time he was chased by an ISIS car bomb. Despite the dangers, 8 months later, he's still here, his clinic moving forward with the Iraqi advance. It's now in an abandoned butcher shop in the heart of the old city. His team has grown to around 20 people, both foreigners and locals. Among them is Dr. Aziz Al-Qassab, an Iraqi doctor from Mosul. While Reed changed his life for this war, Dr. Qassab had his life changed by it. When ISIS took over, they forced him into service at one of the city's main hospitals. So this is the hospital?
Yes, that I work in it.
While it was under ISIS?
Yes, I went at the time of ISIS.
Who were you treating, civilians or ISIS fighters?
Most of them are ISIS fighters that coming here to the emergency department.
And what would have happened if you refused?
If I refuse, they may kill me.
Now, Dr. Qassab treats female patients like 12-year-old Aya, who lost both eyes after an airstrike. His former masters wouldn't have let him touch her. Their strict Islamic rules even stopped him from helping a woman who was bleeding to death.
They come and they prevent me. Say, what do you do? I say to him, I want to save her life because she's bleeding. She's my dad. He said to me, let her die. This is not acceptable with them.
So they'd rather her die than you touch her, treat her.
And I became very sad to that woman that bleed until died, and I not do anything for her. So I am very sad to that woman.
And when the father of two tried to run away from ISIS, they burned his house down. He showed me a photograph of the man he says is responsible. So this is the man who would have killed you.
Yes.
This is the man who burned down your house.
Yes. He's called Abu Fahd.
The militant was once a nurse. He's now in Iraqi custody. You're back now.
Yes.
How does that feel?
This is now a feeling of freedom.
But the hospital is still not fully functioning. So for now, the people living in what's left of Mosul are relying heavily on NGOs like Reed's. He says he's treated between 7,000 and 10,000 people already. And even though the battle is now over, he's not stopping yet.
At the end of it, they always talk about how many people died. I think that's what kept us here in the beginning, is we wanted that number just to be a little bit less. And if nothing else, we did that.
When you hear a story like the one we heard from Dr. Qassab, and we've heard quite a few. It's easy to wonder, what is wrong with Iraq? Why has this country been so violent for so long? We look back to history for answers next. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.